From hate crimes here in South Carolina to education to her own re-election bid in 2020, I speak exclusively with State Representative Lin Bennett for this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Listen to this interview Friday on my free Quintin's Close-Ups iHeartRadio podcast. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Representative Lin Bennett, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
It's so good to be here, Quintin, and see you again.
Yeah, especially we see each other on Facebook, and that's it now.
That's about it. Well, you're busy. You've got, this interview business of yours has just exploded.
Yeah, thank God.
And, my husband's been ill, as you know, and he had a cancerous kidney, and they took it out, and he had complications. So it's been a long summer for us. But he is getting better slowly. It is a slow process.
Slow process.
He had an internal bleed, and that has caused more problems than the actual kidney removal. So, and we're praying and trusting God he's going to be fine.
Yes.
Going to be fine.
Going fine. How are you processing this?
Processing my husband's illness? When he had the internal bleed, I thought I lost him. I thought I was going to lose him. But I called on my faith. I called on my Lord. And I said, the final answer is God's answer anyway. No matter what I want, no matter what I ask for, it all has to be in accordance with His will. And so I just resigned myself to whatever God's purpose was going to be. It was going to happen. But I kept saying to Him, I'm not ready to lose him yet, Lord. And when he started to turn the corner and he was doing better, I said, I'm so glad you agreed with me on this one, God.
Yes.
That's all you can do. Because it's His choice. We're His people. And He gets the final say. And that's just sort of the way I feel about it. So He just graced me with more time with my precious husband.
Precious husband. That's amazing. What is your say when it comes to a lot of issues affecting House District 114 right now?
Let's see. House District 1... State issues affect House District 114. One of the biggest issues is education, which the House attempted to work on this year. And we held lots of hearings with teachers and talked to parents and talked to the business community. And we finally came up, you introduced a bill and then it got changed based on all the input. And we finally got that passed, and it's now in the Senate. There are things that were taken out. There were things that were added in that I'm not happy with, but there are a lot of good things in the education bill. And my feeling is what we're doing isn't working. So let's try something different. I may not have agreed with things that were removed or added, but I know what we're doing is not working. I'm willing to give it a try. We are 24th in the nation in funding our education, so we're in the top half. We are at the bottom with results, and we need to do something because our education is our children's future. Without an education, they have no future. They have no hope. They have no opportunity. And we need to really concentrate on that. And it needs to be encompass the business community, who are the people that eventually hire our product once we get through. It needs to be with parents. And if there's parents that don't want to be involved in their children's education, we have got to figure out a way to think outside the box and come up with a way to make sure these children get a good chance for a good education, whether it's college or whether they're going into a trade school or certification program. There's lots of opportunities for these children. We just need to open the doors and make sure that they have those opportunities.
What are you not happy with when it comes to the education bill right now?
We have a teacher shortage, and we know that. And then, of course, we have overcrowded classrooms because we have a teacher shortage. So what charter schools do is they have a program that allows them to bring in degree people who aren't teacher certified, but they are specialists in a field, and they can go through they can go through a 3-year program to get their certification and become teachers. Well, that was removed, and I was not happy about that, because I just think that we have so many retired military businessmen who have retired that would just be an asset to our children, and we can teach them to be certified teachers.
Certified teachers. Mm-hmm. What do you want to teach people when it comes to gun legislation here in South Carolina?
I don't want to teach them anything. I don't think people are stupid, for one thing. I do think that we need to look at red flag. We need to do something about those who suffer mental illness. There used to be a time when you could do something about that, but you know, now everybody thinks that somebody that works in a mental hospital is Nurse Ratched, and they're not. There was bad things. There's bad things now that go on in institutions as it is. But we need to look at something's wrong with our children. Something is wrong. And red flag laws are good as long as due process is involved, because every citizen in this country deserves due process. But we don't have a system where we can report things, where we can go to share information about somebody that may need help. We may be able to help them. They may need to be off the streets. They may not need to ever own a gun in their life. But we have no process to get to that. And so we need to look at how to do that.
How do you do that in the South Carolina House of Representatives?
It's not easy. South Carolina as a whole is a Second Amendment state. People in our state like their weapons, but they don't like them to go out and kill people. I mean, when you think about it, 99% of these people are doing the right thing. There's always evil in the world, and it will erupt. I mean, just today, we heard a report out of California where a man with a knife went around and killed 4 people just randomly. Our problem isn't the weapons that we use to hurt people. Our problem is our heart. We've lost something in our heart. We aren't a nation that is friendly to each other anymore.
You talked earlier about college. I want to take you to the University of South Carolina. Obviously, there was a search for a new president after President Harris stepped down. Obviously, we have a new General Castleman in there.
Yeah.
And the process of that was controversial from a lot of people's perspective. When you look back at that controversy to right now, what still plays in your mind?
Nothing plays in my mind. I think that the man deserved a vote up or down. What happened was political. What happened was a handful of people that, for whatever reason, I don't know the general, didn't like him, didn't want him, and they were able to put pressure on. If he's the wrong guy, vote him down. They went through a vetting process. This is who they came up with. But he deserved a vote up or down. And they wouldn't do it until the governor calls for it. And everybody just deserves that decent treatment.
And I know, if I'm not mistaken, State Representative Todd Ruffer basically says, hey, we might, introduce some sort of legislation to try to get the governor off the board of trustees for...
That had nothing to do with... I know the governor would put pressure on it, but I think he was right in the fact that the man deserved a vote. And as you can see, the vote was... He was elected 11-8, so it wasn't close. It wasn't like 10-11 or 17, 8-9, or it wasn't a close vote. It was 11-8. He got 11 votes. They could have just as easily voted against him if they thought he wasn't the person for this job, but they didn't do that. And calling for the board to do their job is not a bad thing.
Now, now that General Castleman isn't in office as president, what do you expect, basically, from state legislators from him as far as the University of South Carolina?
What do I expect from him? I expect him to do his job. We have problems in our higher education as well as our K through 12. Our college is too expensive for our students. Tuition goes up constantly. I would hope that he would do a better job at looking at how money is spent, not just him, every higher university in the state of South Carolina, how the money is spent, how they can save these children money. They shouldn't be going into extreme debt to get an education if they choose to go to college. And that's my hope, is that he's able to look at that and make college more reachable for more young people.
Young people. Let me take you to re-election. I know that obviously you're coming up for re-election soon.
Yeah, yay. It's like a constant thing, you know?
Where is your energy for the next re-election cycle?
Where's my energy?
Yes, ma'am.
My energy is fine. Why do you ask? Do I look I'm going to work hard.
Okay.
You know, one of the problems that the biggest complaint that I get is traffic in West Ashley, and there's a lot of reasons for it. And the biggest reason is overdevelopment. We build and we build and we build, and we have no infrastructure to deal with the building. We build on marshlands and we have flooding. I don't know that as a state legislator that I can do much about that, but I can certainly stand up for the folks in my district when it comes to that. I've encouraged the county and the city, when I've talked to the council folks, the state has a program. The state has a lot of roads. We've overbuilt on roads. That they could, there's a program where they can take the roads over. They get the money that goes with the road, and then it's much easier to handle these things on a local level than it is on a state level. Because when you consider we're like the 4th largest road system in the United States, as small of a state as we are, it took us 40 years to get into the system position that we're in. It's not going to happen. We're not going to fix it in 2 years. And everybody seems to think we raised this gas fee and they should all be fixed. Well, it's just not going to happen in 2 years. There's a 10-year plan. People can go look on the SCDOT's website and see where that plan is going to go. They can see what's been done. They can see who's doing the current work for the SCDOT. All the contracts are listed, all the amounts, and who has them. It's just going to take a while, but that's maintenance money. You said it only has to do with maintenance, and we could use getting Highway 61 fixed from Village Green up to Dorchester. It's a pothole mess, and I've been bugging them on that. That's maintenance money. We don't have leadership anymore, so we kind of get pushed down. You know, leadership gets to put a little pressure on everybody, and the state works for the legislature. They fund them, so they always want to please leadership. And I voted against the fee increase just for that reason, because I was concerned that the money would continue to go to places where pressure is put.
Where is this pressure now?
It seems to go to the same place, Florence and Greenville. It seems to be. We're on some of the maintenance things that I would like to see us get more. We are a fast-growing town, and we just need better roads. Now, the new money, the extension of Glenn McConnell, that's new money. That's a whole different thing, and that's a county project, so we don't have anything to do with it in the state. But I have been talking to my councilman. I haven't talked to him lately, but I've been keeping in touch with him, and apparently we are now in Phase B of this project to extend Glen McConnell. There's 3 phases. Right. So it means we're in A, B, and C. We're in the middle. I don't know it's taking so long. I've lived out there for 20 years, and for 20 years we've talked about extending Glen McConnell. But if there's anything we can do at a state level, all they have to do is let me know. But they seem to think they have it under control. But there's no road.
You talked earlier about if the state were to give over the roads to the local municipalities.
We have a program for that, yes.
How much would that save the state government?
Well, they get the money with it, so it doesn't save the state government anyway. For example, I know people who live in neighborhoods. The road is owned by the state, not the city or the county.
Right.
We could turn that over to the county or the city with the money that goes with it, and they could probably react and process and take care of that road issue a lot quicker than the state can, because it's got thousands and thousands of miles of road. So one little neighborhood road is just not going to be on their priority list if they're trying to fix major roadways.
Do you have confidence in the South Carolina Department of Transportation?
I do. Like I said, it's only been 2 years. It took us 40 years to get into this mess. It took us 40 years of building roads that we probably shouldn't have built in the first place. And then we didn't maintain them, and we let them degrade to where they are now. I do think Director Aldo has a good plan. She kind of led the way on what she could do, how to do it. When we were drafting this up, all of this is like temporary work. For example, if they're going to pave I-26, and they're going to eventually widen that road all the way out to 95. They don't do that. They contract that out to, there are companies that do that. So, we were concerned about bringing extra people on. She said that wouldn't be a problem. They would be contracting it out to other folks, and of course, as they move across the regions, they would have different contractors, and all that information is available online for anybody to see.
What contractors do you want to have in this region?
What contracting? I would. Well, I can't do anything about Bees Ferry except complain with everyone else. I would like to see I-26 extended, and they're working on that out to 95, because when we open the Hugh Leatherman port, truck traffic is going to be a major thing out there on that road. And although they're doing a great job on the exit ramp that's going to go there, we still need the main thoroughfare has to be able to handle them. Handle the trucks.
That's right. That's right. Why should people give you another 2 years in Columbia?
Because I work hard, because I care about our children. I care about their education. I realize that there are a lot of important things that we need to do, but none of it matters if our children get left behind. If our children don't get what they need to live fulfilling lives, nothing else matters. And we need to have an open mind on allowing other opportunities besides a college-geared elementary program. It's all geared for kids to go to college. Some kids aren't going to, and those kids get lost. We need to make sure kids can read by the 3rd grade. If you can't read by the 3rd grade, you can't succeed the rest of your school life. And every year that goes by, you just fall further behind because you can't read. And if you can't read, you can't keep up. So we need to focus on, that's one of the most important things that we can do for our children, is to be able to at least make sure that they can read. Because if they can read, they can do anything. They don't have to be perfect readers, but they have to be able to read and comprehend. Because when you send them on to the 4th grade and they can't read, they lose interest. And then you send them on to the 5th grade and they still can't read. They just fall further behind. And the next thing you know, by the time they're 8th and 9th grade, they don't care about school because they can't keep up with it. They're not interested in it. They don't know how to read the material that teaches them what they need to do. So every year that goes by that we don't stop and get a child to read, he loses in school. And then he gets in high school and he has no interest whatsoever. And they leave school or they just hang out in school. And we need to look at discipline in our classrooms, because we have a problem in our culture with anger. And it's in our classrooms. We need to find a way to help these children and to help their parents to figure out how to deal with this. They need to understand that I don't want to hear anymore that parents won't get involved, because there's just some parents who can't. So we need to think outside of the box, figure out how to help these parents with parenting, how to help these children with dealing with the stress and the lack of parenting, the lack of leadership. We can help them. bullying bill that Representative Brown
Right.
and I introduced, and it's passed in a subcommittee,
Right.
actually has counseling in there for students and parents. It's a two-part thing. So education's the most important thing we can do, and anything that works for a child, education choice, charter schools, whatever works for each child, we should consider. We don't need people sitting up on their thrones telling everybody what to do. Every parent knows what his child can do in most cases. We ought to leave that. We always talk about leaving decisions to parents. So let's give parents that decision as well.
And how do you think outside?
And getting 526 complete.
Sure.
I am so sick of, when I ran, we were still debating 526. Well, the governor has done a good job at getting it done. It's going to be a partnership. They're going to get state money, local money match. And we have just got to get that done, because that would relieve a lot of the traffic problems that we deal with in West Ashley, especially during the rush hour time.
Rush hour time.
Mhm.
What do you hope to hear next from the State Infrastructure Transportation Bank Board?
Say that one more time.
What do you want to hear next when it comes to 526 from the State Infrastructure Transportation Bank Board? I think I have it right.
I want to hear that they're sticking shovels in the ground and cutting a ribbon to start building it. That's what I want to hear next. We have been through everything. We have been through plans. We've been through ideas. We have been through everything. So let's just build it.
Build it.
Build it, and they will come.
And when you look at the money, what are you looking at right now?
For the 526?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like for it to be what it is now. I don't know that a parkway will meet the needs. I think it needs to be a highway with access and regress to it, maybe 2 or 3 exits to wherever it's going to go. I think it's going to hook into 30 eventually. But it needs to be something that moves traffic fast. And a parkway doesn't necessarily do that, because you have people pulling out on the roads. These people, we need to move these people. The whole plan is to move people and get traffic moving. Now, what they decide to do, I don't know, but they've got every plan and every chance under the sun to look at every idea there is. So I hope that, that's my hope. It's County Road. I think they get the final say, but I put my 2 cents in. How's that?
I'll leave it to the viewers. Well, how do you think outside of the box when it comes to hate crime in South Carolina?
We have some sick and evil people, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't encourage faith like we used to when I was growing up. People have no hope, and when you have no hope, you have anger. We have broken families. We have families with no fathers. We have families that are separated, and we just need to take a deep breath and help these children deal. We're not going to change it. I mean, if a couple's going to divorce, they're going to divorce. There's nothing we can do about it. But we can help, and I know this for a fact, we can help these children who feel frustrated and lost to find peace with that, to find that what someone else does doesn't necessarily have to affect you. That you are in control of your destiny if you want to be. One of the greatest books I ever read was called Attitude, Your Most Priceless Possession. And the only person that can control that is you. No one else can control your attitude. No one else can make you think what they want to think. You can think for yourself. You have total control on your attitude. So I think with counseling and guidance personnel, if we can identify these people, we can help them. Right now, we're not doing anything in schools to address some of the disruption that's going on. That's not good for the children. That's not good for the children. And they're going, some of them, not all of them, but some of them that have extreme examples are going to turn bad. They just don't comprehend that the difference between goodness and evil. And we've got to help them do that. And to us,
Okay.
the adults.
And I know earlier this year you got into some political trouble. How do you deal with that these days?
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the biggest left-wing conspiracy rags got on me for sharing a conspiracy theorist post. I just don't let it bother me. Anybody that reads the Daily Beast doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't have a strong perception of life. Daily Beast is an ugly attack magazine. That's what it does. And it decided to go after me, and I'm not the only person it's ever gone after. It makes its living off of attacking people. Quintin, I trust in God. I don't think that what happened there necessarily hurt me as it did the people who attacked me, because they looked petty and vicious and ugly.
Representative Lin Bennett, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
It's great to be here, Quintin.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And I'll see you up in Columbia.
You will.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.